Welcome, everyone, to the surprisingly boring secrets of losing 370 pounds, or how I learned to stop worrying and love the shot being a Ozempic. I don't use that one, but you may have heard of it. And I know what you're thinking when you look at this. When you're a very big person, you are a mind reader. So I'm going to move down here. You're a mind reader, and you look at me here and me here, and you wonder, how is it possible for a human being to get this big and still be this fucking sexy? And I don't know. I do know that scientists have asked me to regain the weight so I can be studied, because if they can bottle that shit, they'll be trillionaires. And I say no. I have worked so hard to get here. I am not going to regain this weight. And I really don't want to, because my life is better in every way. This can be an uncomfortable topic. It is definitely uncomfortable for me because I never thought I'd be ever saying out loud that number, which is the highest number I've ever weighed. Anyone who has ever had weight issues knows that that's a number that you keep very secret in your life. And a lot of this is going to be very personal to me, but hopefully it applies to folks here or you in your life. I want to start by saying, just not to bring us down, life is tough when you are big. Certainly this big, but any size. And I got to tell you, over the years I've come down here for stand-up shows. I've seen speeches where someone will make jokes, it's maybe a big person will make fat jokes, whatever, it'll be the topic. And when you are bigger in the audience and you hear that, you think everyone's looking at you. You think that the spotlight is on you when people are talking about this. And I want you to know that tonight it's not. It's on me. No one's looking at you. And I am the biggest person that any human being has ever seen in this room. And so no one's looking at you. They're only looking at me. And I want to tell you my story. The reality is when you are very big, life can be cruel. I used to live in Europe, and I would travel around and see people like take my picture, like snap my picture when they thought I wasn't looking. Or all the time, like someone would nudge the person next to them and point. And I share that because I am now just your average middle-aged fat guy that no one notices, unless you are into this, which if you are, I'll give you my number. But you notice that stuff when you're bigger. You definitely notice that stuff when you're bigger. And so if you are not someone who's ever struggled with a weight issue, what my hope for you is that you walk out of here maybe having a little bit more empathy, because we are all worthy of love and empathy and compassion and respect, regardless of the size or shape of our body, okay? Me at 650 pounds is as worthy of love as me at 275, or me at 200 or whatever. And the same applies to you. And please never forget that. If you are someone who has had issues, then hopefully you walk out of here with maybe a sense of something to do, if it's something that you want to work on in your life. But anyway, so how did I get here to that size? Hot dogs and donuts, first of all. Hot dogs and donuts, major hot dog addiction. In reality, though, obesity is a disease which we'll talk about. But I learned a few things. I learned that during COVID that cake is not just for birthdays. I learned that during COVID, which was really great. But snack out at a grocery store. We are in a food environment where food is hyper palatable and incredibly calorie dense, because we have been through this thing where we thought that like low fat was great, and so everything was low fat in the 80s and 90s for those of us who were old enough. And it was, you know what they did for flavor? They just pumped it full of sugar. So they made all of us sugar addicts. And so it became incredibly difficult for those of us who have the disease of obesity to not gain weight. Fast food is everywhere. Have some ripped folks in the gym. When you are bigger, you feel like a gym is not a place for you. You feel like you're judged. I mean, you are judged all the time. But you think the gym, you're going to be judged the most, because that's where the healthiest people are. But that's not actually the case, but you don't know that at the time. And then I'm not blaming her, but I just like yelling about her is Jillian Michaels, who's like the worst human being. And no. She's the second worst human being in the United States. You guys can figure out who the first one is. Third. I forgot about Stephen Miller, but anyway. Jillian Michaels was on The Biggest Loser, if you guys remember that show. She was the picture of what a personal trainer is. And a personal trainer is not Jillian Michaels. A personal trainer, and I am one now, is someone who just wants you to live your best, healthiest life and not make you feel like shit about yourself. So because of people like Jillian Michaels, we have millions of folks who will never walk into a gym because that's what they think is waiting. And I got to tell you, that's not the case. If you want a visual representation, this is not my baby. This is what 5 pounds of fat looks like. I like slapping it. Smells like a dildo. I don't know if the actual fat smells like a dildo or not. But I have lost 74 of these. And so imagine 74 of these like attached to my back. I think 6 of them were on my neck alone at the time. Well, I don't have the picture up anymore. I'm going to pass this around if you want to see what it feels like. The next time you lose 5 pounds and feel like it's not much, imagine that hanging off the back of your head. Oh, sorry, keep losing the sound. The reality is obesity is a disease. It's a complex, chronic disease. It is both a physical disease and an emotional disease. And so when we start looking at obesity as a disease, we should begin looking at how do you treat a disease, not just by telling people to eat less and move more. Because I tell you, that never works. That never works when that's all someone does. I had a few low points. And so this was in May and June 2022, over the course of a couple of weeks. People say, when's the turning point? Like, when did you really want to start losing weight? And the truth is that, hundreds of times I've lost weight. I cannot tell you how many awesome Mondays I've had, because you start on Monday, and then Tuesday, you're still going strong. By Wednesday, I've had such a good couple of days that I can, do this, stop by McDonald's. And so this was in May of 2022, my sister's wedding in Florida. By the way, a sandy beach in North Florida when you are 650 pounds is a minefield of disaster, as I learned. I officiated her wedding. About 2 minutes after this picture was taken, I fell. I fell on the beach. And obviously I didn't hurt myself because it's sound, but I couldn't get up. And I felt like everyone around me was about to start recording me. And I felt that was going to be a meme. And here I am, me just trying to officiate my sister's wedding, and tomorrow I'm going to be a beached whale on Twitter. That happened. Fortunately, I got up. There's a guy there who's 55, who's an amateur power lifter, who literally picked me up, thank God, and no one took a video of it. Then this next one is an old picture, but this is my friend Mike. He's one of my oldest friends. I mean that oldest as in he's old. He's 75 years old. Mutual friend is here. Make sure that he knows I made an old joke. But I've also known him for almost 30 years. About 2 weeks after this happened, we were at dinner at his place with this American Legion program I volunteer for. And he pulled me aside and he said, Kitty, because my nickname is Kitty. I'll let you figure out why. I have 7 cats. I don't. I really don't. He said, Kitty, I want you to go to my funeral. I don't want to go to yours. And when a man who's 75 years old tells you that you at 43, that he's going to your funeral, it was an eye-opening moment. And I realized no one my size is alive in their 50s. They are all dead. They're all dead. And then the third one, which I'll briefly, I got stuck on a toilet at home. I couldn't get up. I was too weak and big to get up from a toilet. Was eventually able to do it, and I started to need a walker to get around my place, which meant that I never went out to see my friends because my ego would not let me be seen with a walker. And my friends at this point were incredibly worried about me, as someone here knows. They thought I was going to be dead soon, and they were right. So in 2022 of July, I started to lose some weight, no medication. I moved downtown Fargo, which meant I started walking a little bit more. It is hilarious watching people play with my fat as it goes around the room right now. I lost 50 pounds in a year, which is great, but it was not going to stay off. I knew it wasn't going to stay off, even though I had really tried. And then in July of 2023, I was 600 pounds at that point, and I started a GLP-1, which is a medication. So how do GLP-1s help? One, in your stomach, they slow your gastric emptying. So basically, it causes you to digest a little bit slower, so you are full a little bit longer, so you're less likely to eat. It works on insulin. It works on your pancreas with insulin. Helps curb your blood sugar. You don't get the cravings. You don't get the blood sugar spikes. And then it works on your brain in terms of the reward center of your brain. This is the biggest thing for me that it's had an effect. Food noise. Who here has heard of food noise or know? Okay. I have two quick examples about what food noise is. Oreos on the left up here. If you have food noise, as I did, and you have Oreos in your pantry, you are thinking about the Oreos all the time. All the time you're thinking about the Oreos, and you're negotiating with yourself. Well, I can just have one right now. Okay, one's fine. What's that, like 50 calories? Well, once you have one, I might as well get two. And then you cannot function because you're thinking about it all the time. Next thing you know, you've eaten a bag of Oreos, and I'm just, well, I messed up, fucked up, gonna start over tomorrow. The second is, this is an AI child, by the way. This is not a real child. I don't want anyone to arrest me for taking pictures of kids in the grocery store. It's fake. I named my food noise Timmy. Imagine you're a parent and you're in a grocery store and you have your kid Timmy with you, and Timmy wants a candy bar. You say, no, we're getting dinner tonight, healthy stuff. Timmy starts freaking out, throws a tantrum, screams, and you as a parent have to decide, do I give in and give him this cookie or try to go on? But you can't go on because he's so overpowering. You give him the cookie or the candy bar or whatever it is. You know it's not the right thing to do, but you know it's the only thing that's going to quiet the noise so you can go about your day. Timmy is food noise. If you've not experienced Timmy, I am so happy for you. If you have experienced Timmy, you know what you want to do to Timmy here. It's not a pleasant thing. People often say that a GLP-1 medication is the easy way out. All of you here who are wearing glasses right now are taking the easy way out with your vision problems, okay? Who drove here tonight? Why did you take the easy way out to get to Nerd Nite here at the cellar? You should have walked. I don't care if you live in Horace. Easy way out, okay? You all text, I assume? What kind of lazy asshole sends a text rather than uses a carrier pigeon or smoke signals or sends a letter through the US mail? Only people taking the easy way out do that. I assume the people who think a GLP-1 is the easy way out don't use a washer and dryer. Because why would you do that when you can do it the old-fashioned way with the washboard? It is not the easy way out. Do you tell someone with cancer that chemotherapy is the easy way out? If you do, go fuck yourself. If you see someone who's had a heart attack about to get paddled back to life, do you think that that person here has taken the easy way out of their heart attack? No. The American Medical Association and doctors classify obesity as a disease. So treating that disease with a medication and judging someone for taking the easy way out is no different than judging these people, who are also AI, for getting the help that they need. So quickly, GLP-1. If you guys have heard of Ozempic, that's sort of the name. That's the Google, the Kleenex, the name that has taken over. Ozempic and Wegovy, two drugs that work on one hormone in your body called GLP-1. You inject them every single week. In the US, Ozempic is generally used for type 2 diabetes, and Wegovy is used for obesity. And then there's also Mounjaro and Zepbound, or tirzepatide. This works on two hormones in your body, GIP and GLP-1. Mounjaro in the US is typically used for type 2 diabetes, and Zepbound is used for obesity, sleep apnea, cardiovascular issues, fatty liver disease. They're talking about it for treating alcohol use disorder and other addictions, because it works on the hedonistic part of the brain that has addictions, and potentially for things like Alzheimer's. Outside the US, it's just Mounjaro for everything, but the US, we use Zepbound for the weight loss. 1 in 7 Americans have used a GLP-1. I'm not going to have people raise hands here, but looking at counting the number, there's probably 12 to 15 people, at least in this room, who've used one of these. 1 in 11 Americans is actively using one of these medications right now. 1 in 50 Americans are using them specifically for diabetes. When I knew that I had to change, or when I knew things had changed for me, sorry, I'm losing my mic.
You're losing your mic. Do you want to try mine?
Sure, but I'll just hold it like this is what I'll do. So when I knew that life had really changed for me is October 2023. A few things happened at once. Has anyone up here ever hiked? Oh, this is really losing
it. It's your transmitter. You got
to
see the screen over there,
yep.
where that little light is? Make sure you have a line of sight.
All right, I'll stay here. You guys get an extra special view of me over on this side. You guys get to see my profile over here. Who here has hiked Holloway Hill in Maplewood State Park? Okay. It's about a 3/4 mile hike. I hiked up this hill when I was 550 pounds. This was one of the greatest days of my entire life because I got to the top and felt like I might be the biggest person that's ever walked up this entire hill in the world, in history. And it felt great. I went up with a friend of mine who's here tonight who will tell you that I was pretty tuckered out at the very beginning. And told him, go without me, leave me here to die. And I was very serious about that, that I just wanted to stay. But I found my ego overpowered me, and as I was slowly trudging up the hill, people coming down, I couldn't let them see me just standing there. I'm like, oh, keep going. Around that same time...
We're better friends now, sorry.
Okay. Not the first one to do that tonight, hopefully not the last. Around that same time, I started weightlifting. So I started doing some hiking and walking and weightlifting. I already lost about 100 pounds total, and my life was beginning to get better. But I knew on this day in October, climbing up this mountain, that my life was different. I knew the GLP was working because I used to go to McDonald's every Sunday morning and get a bunch of stuff. And there was one day about 2 months in on a GLP where I was driving to McDonald's, halfway there, I literally had this thought like, what are you doing? I wasn't hungry for it. I realized it was just habit. And I pulled into a parking lot, had a little conversation with myself, and pulled out and went home. And I haven't been back to McDonald's in over 2 years since that moment. And that's when I knew that things had really changed for me. I just go to Burger King now. Think I'm joking. They have great macros in their nuggets. So as I've looked back, I sort of have developed 4 rules for myself that I think can apply for anyone on their own weight loss journey or anything you're working on. What did I do differently this time, other than asking for help? Is 1, I started keeping promises that I made to myself. You know how you tell someone you love them? It's not with your words. You keep a promise. That's what a vow is, right? And we're really good at keeping promises we make to other people, not so good to ourselves. I started making a promise to myself and keeping it no matter what, because I love myself. And if I love myself, I have to prove that. And you prove it by keeping your promise. So I made basic promises that I could do at the very beginning. I stopped counting on motivation. Now I lift weights heavy 4 days a week. I walk between 7 and 10 miles every single day. I am not motivated to do that about 90% of the time. My friends who I text know because I'm like, shit, I have to go walking again. But I do it because I've built up habits that stick to it. I celebrate every single win. I have a book. Every little win, I write it down. I'm pumped about it. Doesn't matter, like the big wins like walking up Holloway Hill or I fit in a booth. Or the small wins like, maybe it's not that small. The first time I looked down at my the pedals in the car, I saw lights. I'm like, I left a light on. And then I realized, oh, I guess there's a light at the bottom of a car? I had no idea. I had no clue. I write all that stuff down. By the way, celebrating everyone, did you know that doctors have said recently that for every 35 pounds a man loses, he gains an inch down there? Anyway, unrelated, I'm Jamie. I've lost 370 pounds. And then lastly, I believe in input goals rather than output goals. Output goals are things like the number on the scale, the clothing size, what someone says to you. You are not a number. Do not assign your value and worth to a number on a scale. It is a dirty piece of equipment on a dirty bathroom floor, and you let that tell you if you're going to have a good day or not. How fucked up is that? Stop doing that. Set goals for things you directly can control. You can control how much water do you drink? How many steps do you get? What do you eat? How much do you get protein do you get? Set goals for things you directly can control rather than outcomes. Doesn't mean you can't celebrate the outcomes, but don't make goals about those things. Lastly, I have learned to be at peace that I was happy to be 650 pounds. This is the single worst picture of me on the planet, by the way. So a very vulnerable moment for me to put this up here. Life was hard at this size, and I was never going to talk about this story with anyone, ever. I only even told one friend I was on this journey the first year. No one in my family. But what I have learned is that through sharing my story, there are people out there who are realizing that, hey, if the 650-pound guy can just get some help from a doctor, Dr. Hella in South Fargo, if anyone's looking, get help from a doctor, start walking a little bit, lift some weights every now and then, you can completely change your life. And I love this version of me because the hardest day I have now, and I want you, if you are struggling with your size right now, the hardest day I have right now, like a day if I go for a 12-mile hike and a 2.5-hour workout, it is easy compared to an average day here. Because I was this size, I get to be up here and tell you my story, hoping that someone out here improves their story because of it, okay? So I am happy to have done this, and I'm happy to have changed my life. I would encourage you to start by making one single change. Think of whatever you can do on your hardest day with the least motivation. I started by drinking a glass of water every time I went to the bathroom. That's how my whole journey started. Think about what that one change is for you. If you're looking for additional support, you can find me on the socials. It's very weird. I have 100,000 followers where I talk about all sorts of crazy shit. And so if you want to follow, go for it, or I'll hang out here if you have any questions. Trust me when I say your life can change. And it's not about getting to an end result where you feel better. You feel better every single day along the way if you just have it with joy and gratitude. Hopefully what you're seeing out of me is that I am full of joy and I am full of gratitude. I am not full of pride. I'm full of gratitude and joy, and you can have it too. You just got to make a start with one single change. Any questions from anyone? Yeah.
Oh, girl.
She asked what I think about the change in the food pyramid. Yeah. I think encouraging people to eat saturated fat's really dumb. I can't imagine doing that. Having steak above salmon in that pyramid makes no sense to me. But I'll tell you this, no one pays attention to the food pyramid anyway. People think that it replaced an old food pyramid. It hasn't. The old food pyramid's been gone for 15 years. It's My Plate is what's been used. I mean, it's nutritionist now, by the way, which is crazy to think I'm a nutritionist. But yeah, I think a lot of it's silly. But there's some good in there too. I mean, there's some value in it. Focusing on protein is great. Other questions? By the way, there is no question you can ask me that I will be embarrassed by. I go on TikTok live streams. You can imagine the questions I get. Yeah?
What was your worst symptom on a GLP-1?
My worst symptom on a GLP-1? So I'm fortunate. I have occasional constipation, also weird to talk about that. Occasional constipation, and I get a runny nose. Which is kind of a new symptom they're learning, which is I get a bit of a runny nose. I've never had nausea. Don't throw up. None of that stuff. There are some extremely, potentially severe complications. Pancreatitis, gastroparesis, stuff like that, which is why I don't actually even recommend anyone use a GLP-1 or medication. I recommend people talk with a doctor to determine what is best for them, because this is not the right thing for everyone. In my case, I had to look, what are the side effects of having the obesity, having the weight that I had, which in my case is going to be death in 5 years. or the potential side effects of a medication. So I weighed that. I made my decision. I encourage others to do the same.
One more question.
Yep.
Are you planning on doing any skin removal?
The number one question I get, certainly on TikTok. Yeah, so I will not expose myself.
Scott Dollar!
For free. Every man has a price, and I'm no different. Yeah, so I have quite a bit of loose skin, particularly around this is all loose skin right here. Quite a bit around my thighs, less on my chest than I expected, and then my arms, I gotta flex the biceps, but you can see down here. So I have the bat wings. Yes, I will likely near the end of this year. I have to have the stomach and thighs done. And actually, I was on the #1 health and fitness podcast in the world in June called Mind Pump, because I emailed them and said, hey, I have all this loose skin. Do you guys have advice? Because it was getting in the way when I'm working out. And they flew me out to California. I was on the show. It is annoying. I have to wear compression shirts to sort of hold it all in. I now understand why women love Spanx. I get it. Maybe they don't love Spanx. I love Spanx. Not so much physically, but it just makes me feel good, Get all. But yeah, so I'll have a skin removal surgery. It'll be pretty extensive. But it's medically necessary because I'm having knee issues, back issues. It sucks. But I tell you what, the skin is a million times better than what I had before. And I tell myself, I had the skin before, I was just inflated. And now I have the skin now and it's deflated, but I feel better in every other way. Do not let fear of loose skin scare you off of weight loss. Trust me, it is an annoying side effect or byproduct. It is not as bad as you think it is. Okay?
All right.
Thank you, everyone. Appreciate it.
Don't forget